What's up, my peeps? Travis here, and today I'm breaking down one of the wildest book launch case studies we've run in a long time. We took a niche down offer for estate planning lawyers specifically. We spent 10 grand on ads and generated $100,184 in 24 hours, plus another 20K on the back end later on, plus 30 people joining the $400 a month continuity membership. That is a 10x front end return on ad spend and over $120,000 total revenue from a single launch. Crazy. And here's the best part, 70% of the people who attended were completely new leads, cold from Meta ads. So in this video, I'm gonna break it down, the exact funnel we used. Here's why niching down was the difference between winning and losing. The ad creative process, how we self-liquidated before the webinar, and why the presentation itself made or broke the entire thing. So if you're a coach, you're a consultant, author, or expert who wants to run a profitable launch without burning your budget, you're gonna wanna watch this all the way through. So let's dive in. So here's where the launch almost went wrong and screwed everything up. At first, we tried to market the book broadly to all types of lawyers, right? Sounds smart and have a bigger market, right? Wrong. The moment we widened the audience CPL, as in our cost per lead, almost doubled to get registrants to the webinar. When we niched back down to estate planning lawyers only, called them out, talked to their pains and desires, cost per lead dropped more than half. Intent shot up and people were actually excited for this webinar. And that's the first takeaway. Broad messaging for specialized professions destroys performance. Niche messaging cuts through the noise instantly because you're speaking to a human, right? The more specific you can get to the market, the better you're off. If you're running ads to professionals like accountants, lawyers, agency owners, doctors, specificity is everything. All right, next thing is we use a very simple model. We just use a classic free webinar funnel, but specifically tailored to estate planning lawyers. Nothing crazy, no fancy 7-step automation labyrinth, just a clear promise tailored to one avatar. Because the niche was right, opt-ins flowed, lead quality was high, and registration rate stayed strong the entire time. It actually even improved. We did multiple split tests with headlines and different videos, things like that. This funnel only works when the messaging is dead accurate, and that's why the niche mattered more than the tech. Now, here's where things get intense. We wrote, designed, and tested 50 different creatives. And each creative had 4 messaging variations. That's 200 ads on a brand new ad account with a brand new pixel. In just a 2-week period, we spent the 10 grand, made back 100K in 24 hours, and made back an extra 20 to 30K in back-end revenue. And every coach and advertiser should hear this. Creative volume compensates for weak data. If your pixel is new, if your account is fresh, if you're launching something for the very first time, you don't fix that all with your targeting. You fix it with the creative. We threw angle after angle after angle at the algorithm. We had pain-based hooks. We had mechanism hooks. We had identity hooks. We had credibility hooks. We had emotional hooks. This allowed Meta to find the pockets of people who are ready to engage right now. If we ran 5 ads instead of 200, this launch would have died before it started. Because believe it or not, the first few ads that we launched totally tanked and we're getting a really high cost per lead. All right, and the next thing is before the webinar even went live, we'd already recovered 42% of the ad spend. How do we do this? Through VIP upsells, as well as bump offers, as well as early access options. Small ticket revenue trickled in from excited attendees. A lot of coaches skip this part, but this is how you reduce risk and keep your ROAS very stable. Self-liquidate your front end before your event even begins. We walked into the webinar already recovering 42% of all of our ad spend. That's how you run profitable launches repeatedly, by eliminating downside. Okay, so now here's the truth. The webinar presentation itself was the biggest lever, and it's where the revenue really happened. Remember, before the webinar even started, we had self-liquidated about 42% of our ad spend, which is around $4,200, right? Out of the 10K that we spent. But the real money, the $100,184 in 24 hours, came directly from how well the client presented the offer during the live event. And he absolutely crushed it. He used urgency, he used scarcity, industry pain point. He's an authority in the space. He used exclusivity, momentum, and premium positioning. He wasn't just delivering a 5 tips teaching lesson. He wasn't giving away random tactics. He walked them through Why estate planning lawyers are hitting a growth ceiling and unable to scale to 7 figures. Why traditional marketing agencies are screwing them over and can't help them actually scale. And how his book and methodology actually creates predictable leverage. Why this year is a critical turning point for the industry in estate planning. And why his coaching program solves the deep problems they've been stuck with for years. So when he made this offer, the room lit up, and that's where the $100,000 day happened. Most people obsess over funnels, ads, automations, but your presentation is what determines your revenue. Everything else just gets people in the room. The webinar was the difference between breaking even or kind of close to breaking even to generating over 100K on the front end, plus the additional 20K in post-webinar sales, plus continuity revenue on top of that. This is why I always tell people, your offer and presentation matter more than your funnel tech. Obviously, you got to get your funnel tech to work to get people on. You got to make sure all that's working, especially for a big launch. But the presentation is the thing you should spend the most amount of time on. Okay, the next thing is to keep in mind that after the webinar, we ran follow-up systems. Nothing crazy, just strategic. And the client brought in an additional $20,000 in sales in the days after. This alone would have made the launch profitable even without the 24-hour sales spike. But the reality is most coaches never really follow up properly. They leave 20 to 50% of launch revenue on the table. So let's do a recap. $10,000 in ad spend. $100,000, $184, same day front-end revenue. 30 continuity clients at $400 a month, another 20K from follow-up, 70% new leads from Meta from cold ads, total revenue 120K plus from one launch with continuity on the back end. The ROAS was 10x on the front end, even higher long-term with continuity. But let me tell you, launches don't always go this way. They don't actually usually go this way. I wish they did, because this one worked really well because the niche was right. The creative volume was high and quality. The offer was strong. The webinar presenter delivered and had authority, and the backend was tight. Most people miss at least one of those, and that's why their launches still flop. So if you want me to break down the exact funnel we use, or if you want help structuring your own book launch, webinar, or high-ticket coaching funnel, drop the word book in the comments, and I'll make sure that I reach out to you personally. And make sure to subscribe below because I'm going to break down the exact ad angles we use in future videos. I'm going to go through the story structure of the webinar and how we scaled this without lead costs exploding. All right, I appreciate the watching. See you in the next one. Peace.